Okay. Hi.
We're here. We're here.
We're here. Hi. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the finest channel on YouTube, the Scotch Malt Whisky Society of America. And thanks for joining Zach and I tonight as we get to talk about something very delicious and very exciting.
I would say so myself.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked for this. It's exciting. It's
too.
different. It's the way that it was constructed really has my interest piqued quite a bit. So I've been waiting since I got this bottle to have this video so we could share it with everybody. So I'm super excited for it tonight.
Yeah, I've been kind of nosing this and playing around with it a little bit today, and it's good AF.
I like the stamp of approval. I'm excited even more now.
Yeah. So I do want to say hello to everyone. We have Tom R., who is our front runner always and forever. I think it's like one of the things that, like, if he wasn't here, then we'd have to like send a search team.
Yes.
You know, we would worry about him, Tom. Yeah, we would definitely worry. But Steve is here. Hello, Steve, and Dale, and Jonathan Galloway, and George Kaplan. And yeah, so I'm super excited to kind of dig into this and share what it is and all of that good stuff. So I guess we can kind of get to the point. But actually, I did want to mention something before we kind of dig into this. So tomorrow is Veterans Day, and we are currently, kind of running this. I don't really know what the right word is for it, but basically what we're doing is we are donating 20% of all of our vaults collection and Black Label bottles to the Fisher House organization. And it's something that we do every year. It's super important to us. And so I know that all bottles, the Black Label and Vault Collection bottles that are purchased through midnight tomorrow, 20% of that will go over to the Fisher House. So I did definitely want to mention that. I know we have a lot of service people in the society, and we are just incredibly grateful. So with that, I think we can kind of,
Hey, we'll raise a glass to all the servicemen.
Yes.
So thank you guys. As this is our let's call it Veterans Day tasting. So thank you all for that. If you have served, past or present, we do thank you guys. So cheers.
Yes.
Slán.
Big cheers to that.
I think that was a good cheers to try this for the first time. That's good.
It's really good. And two, what I did is in this month's Unfiltered magazine, there is a great article on all of the heresy casks that have been put out. And the bottle that we are talking about tonight actually falls in that category. So I've dropped the link in the comments. If you're a member, you have full access to Unfiltered, and you can find that on our website at smwsa.com. And this month's is it's really jam-packed full of all kinds of good stuff. Hosting tastings at home. I know over the holidays, people are finally going to be able to, be with their families and all of that stuff. So I did, again, drop that link in the comments. And if you need help finding it, I'm more than happy to email it over to you as well. So now that we've gotten all of the housekeeping out of the way,
down to the drinking.
Let's get into it. But the Water of Life, and Greg, who is he is a great member and a great guy, and was kind enough to ask me to be a part of that film, which still blows my mind. But he said that Batch 10 was his favorite blended malt ever.
That's some big words.
That ever, when you add ever on the end of something, like that's some serious shit. So
especially in the whiskey world, because we drink a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot going through us.
Exactly. And I know that Greg has had a lot of whiskey in his life. And so to see that is a pretty big deal. And I agree, Batch 10 was just stupid. I mean, I cruised through that bottle probably faster than I would like to admit.
Yeah.
But man, that was just absolutely just a stunner of a whiskey. So I was really excited that you and I got to sit down and taste Batch 12 tonight. So
I know, I'm excited.
Yeah. So you want to get into it?
Hey, I'm fully ready because I've been smelling this and it's just been like music to my nose, we'll call it.
So the newest release in our blended malt collection, or our Heresy cask, which will be released tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time, is batch 12. I know it's, we've had batch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and now 12. But I did want to, we'll dig into all the details on this, but I did want to talk a little bit about kind of our blended releases and this Heresy cask, releases that we do. So this actually kind of started back in, I think we released the first Exotic Cargo was our very first one. And geez, talk about a whiskey. That was released in the summer, of 2017. But they said that actually it was 2011 that they wanted to release a blended malt. And that's like kind of, we're the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. Like we are like I can't even think of the word, like, because we're that big of a deal, like in the single cask world. And we talk about single cask all the time. And like, that's what we do. And like, that's what we love. So to release a blended malt, especially back in 2011, I'm sure people were like, wait a second, what are you doing? I'm sure that was kind of the take on it. And it was actually when we were still owned by Glenmorangie, and they were like, no, it's not time. So Kai and Ewan, they kept at it, and we released Exotic Cargo in the summer of 2017. And that bottle, I still talk to members. I know,
on my shelf, and I refuse to drink it all. I savor it.
Oh,
just because I love going back to it. It is just such a pleasure. It's such a treat. It was. I remember I actually joined in the summer. I believe it was April of 2017, and remember that bottle coming out. And I did not get it at the time, and I was grateful to be able to get it later on. But it's been such a fun time watching these blends evolve since then. And the things that we've been able to do, and just being able to share that and be a part of it has been so fun. With this bottling being one of I think the first of its kind that we've done in this blended series. So it's just exciting to be able to bring forth a different style of, let's say, flavor or maturation, we'll call it. So I've been looking forward to this, and I'm so glad we're here now. So I'm actually ready to dig in and get
Well, when we kind of talk about all the details of batch 12, I would love to know what some of your favorite batches have been. Was it Tar Pit? Was it Exotic Cargo? Was it Spice Cannon? Was it Peat Fairy? I'm trying to think of
the good old Peat Fairies, man. Those lasted a while. Yeah. Black Oak. Ooh.
Black Oak. That was amazing. And then Battle Axe, and I mean, there have been so many great ones. So I would love to know, for those of you who are watching and who have kind of tasted some of the blended batches that we've released, I'd love to know what your favorite one was, or maybe they're all your favorite, and that's cool too.
Yeah.
So, all right. So this is batch 12. This is a 10-year, and we'll kind of dig into all of the cask breakdown and what is exactly in it here in just a second. And I really just I love the colors. I love the label. It's very happy. This is like, you just look at this whiskey and it's happy.
I love it.
Kind of has like it kind of gives me like old granddad vibes.
Friendly. It's inviting. That's literally just like, don't look at it. All right, old granddad. There we go.
It kind of gives me those kind of vibes. So I'm into it. But
it's fun seeing how these have evolved, these labels, and this one's colorful is all heck. I love it.
Yeah, I'm really into this one. So that's purple, no?
I don't know. I could be colorblind, but I love the coloring. It's really neat. It's a nice little extra.
Yeah.
You can't see it on camera.
Anyway, it's pretty. So if you're into pretty stuff, you should get one. All right. So I want to kind of break down the cask that went into creating this, because this is something that I've never seen at the Society. And so this is straight from Ewan Campbell, who is really the madman behind this incredible release.
Genius.
And so really, so basically what we did is, what he did is he utilized 2 custom designer casks from Sagamaro, which is a cooperage in France, a very famous cooperage. And for the one type, so we're going to break it down into 2 different types. So for the one type, the staves were coopered from new American oak. Each stave was like basically hand picked. It wasn't like they just had a bunch of staves and they were like, this one looks good, this one looks good. These were like hand picked staves. And the reason they did that was because they wanted a higher than average content of lactones and aromatic compounds. And so that's what they did for the first one. And then they put a heavy toast on those staves. And then for the second type, they used staves from Caucasian oak, which is also known as Persian oak. And I believe that it's called Quercus macranthera.
It's a mouthful.
Which it is. And it's new to me. This is something completely new that, I'm learning, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Because the day I stopped learning, the day I stopped doing this. So these are, the second type was from, again, the staves were Caucasian oak, and those are sourced from just east of the Black Sea. And then they put a longer toast on those staves. And then toasted heads were applied to both casks. So it's a mouthful. It's a lot, but in short, 2 designer casks from Sagamaro cooperage in France, American oak staves and Caucasian oak staves that were hand selected specifically for these casks, which is really, really cool. So
when I'm trying a whiskey using casks that I've never had before in my life, 1, it's rare, and 2, it's fun because my brain gets going, my gears start turning. You just start looking for new things. It's just so fun. These are really those bottles that I love to dive into. And it's cask exploration without, I would say, leaning too heavily on any comfort, because they're not sherry casks where you can be pretty comfortable with what's going to come out of it. This is completely new stuff. So this is so exciting to me, and I'm so glad we're able to sit here and share it together. So
yeah, well, we're gonna dig into it, but so Alexander said Battle Axe was a fun one. Tom R. Beachcomber is great. Beachcomber made just the best highball.
Mm-hmm.
I had I know Tom did too. Bounty of Tom loved the Beachcomber. That one was really, really good. And then Jim said, I've only had batch 10 and loved it. Yeah. Big Swirl was also so good. I loved Big Swirl.
That one disappeared very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, that one went really quick too. So, and the Australian branch of the Scotch Malt Whisky Society is here, and they say hello. So, hello to you all in Australia. So, all right, let's dig in. I'm ready.
I'm ready
for whiskey. It's been a day.
And let's not forget the Scotch test dummies in the house, drinking along, sharing their stash with friends, it looks like. So now we are ready.
Okay, this smells like familiar. The smell is actually very familiar.
I'm loving the citrus on the bottle, because that's the first thing I think about when I stick my nose in the glass. Is a nice, fresh, aromatic citrus. It is creamy, it's vanilla-y, and it's just in my face.
This reminds me of an orange creamsicle popsicle.
Oh, that is...
You know what I'm talking about?
That is spot on. That's literally what I am smelling. Everything combined into one.
That is literally liquid orange creamsicle popsicle. That's it. I can't
get away from it now, but it's wonderful in every aspect.
Oh. It smells so creamy and orangey.
Now I'm guessing this is why the staves were hand selected, is for this exact. The dogs are even excited about it.
The dogs are very excited about it. Yes, this is Orange Whip. Actually, has anybody out there had an orange bang? Zach, now that you live in California, you have to go to this place called The Hat.
Okay.
And get a pastrami sandwich and an orange bang.
An orange bang.
An orange bang. Drink? If anybody out there has had orange bang, this is it. It is literally orange creamsicle popsicle and orange bang in a glass.
I'm going to have to write that down. Jim says, yes, it's very common here. See?
You got to get an orange bang. So any details on the whiskey, which distillery or distillery codes? We do not have that information as to which distillery this came from. It's something that, doesn't even get shared with us. So I kind of like it. It's kind of like, I like to look at these almost as like the black art of the society, because it's like a secret and we just have to trust the creator, which I love. And so that is, I do like that take on it. And that's how I really look. That's how I look at these.
I think it goes to our core of, our numbering system. It's there because we want to enjoy the whiskey and judge the whiskey for what the whiskey is and not what for the company is. So that's always exciting to me. And obviously not saying, judging whiskey by the company or label is wrong, but it just makes things a bit more exciting. So you just don't know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get.
Calm down, Forrest. But to answer your question, George, this is it is Speyside whiskey. We just don't know from which Speyside distilleries that this came from. So that is a secret that will remain a secret. So, all right. So what else are you getting? Any?
I mean, there's a little bit of spice, but beyond that orange creamsicle, I can't get my head out of it. I would say baking spices, maybe some cinnamon, nothing crazy. More secondary flavors.
I love that. So if it is Mr. Matt Bailey over in Australia, if it is you behind the keyboard, he said basically black art, but $450 cheaper and still expertly blended. There you go.
That's a good point.
Good point. So yeah, speaking of price on this is going to be right at $100. So $100, there is going to be a limit on it. So it's one bottle per member. And this will be released again tomorrow at 1:00 Eastern time. And it is Mr. Bailey here. Hello, sir. It's lovely that you're here. What time is it in Australia?
I was just wondering that. Matt's over there.
They're like 8 days ahead of us.
You got to taste this new blend with these guys.
So yeah, and if you've had, I'd love to know what your take on this is and what you thought of it as well. I'm going to pour a little bit more in my glass.
Sean is asking bottle count. So minus the 2 bottles we have here, we are sitting at exactly 148 bottles for you guys. So that's the whole lot. Like we said, it is limited to 1 per person, just so as many members can get their hands on it as possible. But it is a total of 150 minus the 2 we have. So 148.
Oh gosh, it's so good. And this, again, I do want to mention, this is at 50% ABV. And I have a banner.
There we
go.
Put
that up.
And it is 10 years old. So we do know that as well.
Yes. And Connor made a note. It's like the reverse of black art in a way. With SMS, we know the cask types, but not the distillery. With black art, we know the distillery, obviously, but not the cask types. It's a great point. So I do love just like the mystery behind these whiskeys.
Tom said, little known fact, they swirl the whiskey the opposite way in Australia.
I don't know about that.
That's very hard to do. I'm trying to do it now, and it's just not it's not working.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's not for me. But so yeah, again, I think this sits this, I think what I really love about this is nose and palate match. I think
They
really
do.
beautifully on this. I am getting like a nice, just like you're tasting the oak influence on this.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're getting that oaky hug on your palate. So you're getting the big, technically we're putting this in our juicy oak and vanilla flavor profile, which I think is spot on and perfect. You're getting big citrus, big vanilla, that oak just hug on your palate at the finish. And I think it's just this won't last long.
Mm-mm.
In my house. They shouldn't have sent this to me.
I mean, I think you're spot on there. That it's not, I won't necessarily say it's rare, but when palate and nose match, it's almost like a beautiful dance of some sort, because it can be fun if you're smelling one full wide array of something and then tasting something completely different. But at times it becomes overwhelming, because you're constantly sniffing. At least myself, I'm constantly sniffing my whiskey, taking a sip, sniffing again. So it kind of gets your brain working a little bit harder. Whereas this, you smell it and you hope to taste those notes because they're just so yummy and juicy. And the palate is just all over your mouth. It's on your gums. It's hugging your tongue. It's not overwhelming. It's not like a strong tannic structure that is yet to break down. I mean, it is just sticking there. There's a bit of eucalyptus or mint without being an ethanol bomb. It's just an all-around great tasting. I would just say just drink in general, be it a cocktail or a neat glass or on the rocks. And this is just, it's fun. I mean, this is perfect.
It is. But that's what they're supposed to be. This tongue-in-cheek, kind of whiskey, which really is who we are. Like we're like the fun mom, like we're serious at times. And like we take whiskey seriously. Like it's something that, we love so much and we love to share it with people. But at the same time, even though that these are just exquisitely beautiful single cask, it's whiskey, and whiskey should be fun and whiskey should be shared. And, we are 10 trillion% behind, that kind of, train of thought that, yes, let's be serious, but let's be fun and let's share it. And I think another kind of great way.
It's very well put.
We're the fun mom of the whiskey world. So I think another kind of, speaking of great way to enjoy this and, share this is actually in a cocktail. Don't make that face.
Let's do it. I'm excited. This is me.
Let's make a cocktail.
I think I'm okay with that.
I'm super stoked.
As you say it, I think it's great because the flavors will match well with a lot of different cocktails. I think these citrus and like vanilla notes carried with the bit of weight that it has behind it, it'll hold up to a lot of cocktail ingredients. I think it'll just do as well. So I'm super excited.
And, over the summer, I can't tell you how many cocktails I've made with Society whiskeys. I really, again, like a peated highball, I will die on this hill for the rest of my life, is one of just the most delicious, just thirst quenching, amazing things in the world. And I use our peated cask all the time for those. I've made, frozen like whiskey popsicles with Society whiskey.
Whoa.
I know, crazy. And and I try to explore as much as I can with our cask, whether it's cooking or, cocktails or whatever it is. I think that, you get something as special as a single cask. You can really tailor that to however it is you want to enjoy it. And I try to explore as many options as I can. So I think it's a good idea for us to try this in a cocktail.
I think it's great. I don't drink too many cocktails myself, but I love the concept of the tailoring the whiskey to your palate, be it with water, without water, in a cocktail with juice. This whiskey was not made to be drank one specific way. Scott just made a great point. Good whiskey makes a good cocktail. It's a very great point. So with that, let's make a great cocktail.
Let's make a cocktail.
Let's do it. I'm gonna get
What are you gonna make, Zach?
I am gonna make a good old fashioned.
I like it.
I'm gonna stick with a classic drink that a lot of people can possibly pick the difference of quality out using a different whiskey than they're used to. Obviously, you go to bars and you're just getting usually a well, or if you order it, a premium bourbon. And it's just something that a lot of people enjoy, and it's extremely easy to make, especially for people like myself that don't make too many cocktails. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to assume you're going to be making something a little bit more different. Just a guess.
So I am actually going to be making a blood and sand because when I was reading the tasting notes before this even arrived to me, that was like the first thing I thought of off the top of my head. I was like, oh, that citrus, just, forward kind of notes. I was like, all right, a blood and sand. And so that is what I'm going to be making. So I got my fancy glass.
Ooh.
And I think this is a cocktail that, like, the ingredients that go into this cocktail are ingredients that, are on a lot of people's, bar carts at home. Mm-hmm. I think that it's pretty easy. It's, 3/4 of an ounce across the board. And I know some of them use orange juice, but I'm going to use blood orange juice. I love blood oranges, and it just sounds like a blood and sand. Like, you need blood orange juice. So I am going to craft this really quickly, and we're going to taste it in a cocktail. So
I'm going to do the same.
All right. So for those of you who would like to recreate this blood and sand at home, basically all you're going to do is you're going to take your shaker, and nothing in it yet. And you are going to do 3/4 of an ounce of blood orange juice, which I've already pre-squeezed because my juicer and my fine strainer and a lot of my bar cart tools are still packed away somewhere in this abyss of boxes. So you're going to do 3/4 of an ounce of blood orange juice. And then you're going to do 3/4 of an ounce of sweet vermouth. And vermouth is probably one of my favorite, one of my favorite things in the world. Sometimes I will take a vermouth and just put it over ice when I'm making dinner because I just love the way it tastes. And I use it in a plethora of cocktails. So you're going to do 3/4 of an ounce of sweet vermouth. And that's just a good thing to have on hand. And then you're going to do 3/4 of an ounce of this delicious, it's cherry. It's basically a cherry liqueur. You could do Luxardo, but this is Hearing, and I love it. And you could even do like a little bit of bourbon, a splash of this on ice. It's like a cherry bourbon Coke, really delicious. And then last but not least, 3/4 or a whole ounce, however your day has been, I can't tell you, of batch 12.
My day's been great. 1.5 hours. My day's been bad. 1 3/4.
I put a little more than I put a little more than that. And then you're going to add some ice. Always put your ice in last. That way your goodies aren't sitting in there getting all watered down. And my ice is all
just don't let it slap.
Frozen together. And then so you add in a shaker, and then you're gonna shake it up. I'm going to shake this in my living room and hope that it does not explode all over my couch.
That is all risky.
Right. It's risky. Okay. All right. And then typically you would run this through a fine strainer, but again, mine is somewhere in this abyss of boxes. So regular one's going to have to work. Take your glass. Look at that color.
Yum.
And top it with a little blood orange peel, and there you have it.
Wow.
The blood and sand.
Now, I want to bring up a point before I make mine, which is very basic. Tom R asks if there's orange bitters in it. I do not have orange bitters, but I think the orange bitters would be fantastic in this. I think if we lined them all up together and we had orange bitters, this would be a very colorful cocktail, to say the least. But I'm just going to go the old-fashioned route. I'm just going to add the sugar. I already have sugar and a dash of water in the glass. I'm just going to add some good old Angostura bitters.
Also something that's like a staple. And Tom, it's so good. This cocktail is so easy. It is so delicious. And if there was, I think, a whiskey that was made for this cocktail, it is batch 12.
All right. So I had to mute my mic so I didn't mess your eardrums up trying to mix that, getting the sugar dissolved in there. I don't have fancy ice cubes. I've got my water dropper that doubles as my water bottle that doubles as a water dropper, holding some ice for me. So I'm going to drop that in there.
Have you upgraded, though, to an actual water dropper, or are you still using a straw?
My straw is a water dropper. Okay. It takes a lot more skill because you have to use your finger.
Got it.
And that's all I got. So I had one for a little bit from our tasting kit. But I don't know what happened to it. So we just went back to the straw. But going on to the whiskey, I typically free pour my whiskey in my cocktails. Just because it's a little more exciting. Just like the box of chocolates, you never know how much you're going to get, especially when you're talking and doing it at the same time.
So yours is like a 2-ounce old fashioned.
No, like an ounce and a quarter, maybe ounce and a half. But I'm just going to lightly stir, and I don't have a bar spoon, but I'm doing my best.
Use a straw, Zach.
I have a spoon.
Oh.
I'm using my finger, guys. All right. And then I'm just going to take this fancy peeler and fancy orange and just like a classic, hope I don't slice my finger open. I'm going to grab that orange slice, take it, and just rub that around the rim because
you fancy.
It's fun and plop.
Well,
and then we have just a nice classic old fashioned. Oh my God. Oranges and oranges and oranges.
Yeah, I think that is really the takeaway here, is that this whiskey is delicious on its own. Again, it is that liquid, just orange creamsicle meets orange bang. It's amazing in a cocktail. Like, I cannot tell you. I will probably finish this very quickly while we are all here together.
I'm with you.
Because it's absolutely delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know, I'm such a fan of these releases. Literally everyone that I've ever had, that I've ever tried, I cannot find a bad thing to say about any of them. Like, every batch that has come through my front door has not lasted long. And this is definitely going to be one of those. And I love that I can use this in a cocktail, or I just have it neat. Yeah,
it's so fun. I actually, Peat Fairy, back, I think 2019, we released our last Peat Fairy batch. I used to use that for highballs for our in-person tastings. That was our welcome drink, and it was just so much fun. So I might have to start thinking outside the box and doing something like this for our welcome drink, because this is stellar. It's like you said, neat. It's wonderful. It's flavorful. It's not too much. It holds its own with water or ice while still not being overwhelming on the palate without either, if you're drinking it neat. And it really accentuates, I think, a classic cocktail, or a more fun cocktail with those citrus and vanillins going on in the background, while still carrying other flavors, obviously. There's other tropical fruits going on. I'm sure some people are going to get more of a sweet note too, outside of just that vanilla. But this is just a great whiskey with a good backbone that I think is just fun. Are you reading the tasting notes on the back?
So I'm actually going to read the tasting notes because one, they're fun, and two, I think it really kind of gives you a bigger picture of exactly, what this cask really tastes like, because, we're just giving our opinions. But this is the opinion of the tasting panel. So it says a wonderful bouquet of sweet and fruity aromas, plum jam, banana bread, Amarena cherries coated in dark chocolate, creamed coconut, and refreshing mango cinnamon ice cream. Ooh. Mouth coating like a star anise meringue with mango coulis and fresh raspberries. While in the finish, the star anise might have been swapped by matcha powder, giving this dessert a light, spicy Asian edge. With a drop of water, we got the same aroma. We should probably try it with some water. We got the same aroma, but from 3 different countries. They got Belgian speculoos, British gingerbread, and I don't know what that is, and I'm going to have to Google that. But while on the palate, we were eating candied orange sticks and candied clementine confit with Moroccan spices. So, I mean, I don't know if I get as much of like the actual spice.
My bad. What I love about this is that these tasting notes are a culmination of a large number of people. I share this with a lot of people when I talk about our whiskeys. They're like, I read all your tasting notes, but I'm not getting everything. And you're not supposed to. It's a group of people bringing their palates to the table and mixing all of their tasting notes together. So it's always fun to see what kind of flavors different people get, because you're never wrong. Your palate is yours and yours alone, and each thing interacts a little bit differently. So these are always so fun to me to read, because then I see what I get and then I see what others get, and I'm like, oh, I can see that, or oh, that's super exciting, super different.
Zach, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We cannot hear you.
What? Oh no. Can you hear me at all?
I thought it was just me. I thought it was my headphones, but we cannot hear you.
Let's see.
I think Zach's probably cursing under his breath. But yeah, we cannot hear you, Zach. Oh, Jim can hear you. Oh, then everyone can hear you. It must be me.
Jenna must be cursing under her breath.
All right. Well, I'm going to try to figure this out. You keep going, and I'm going to try to figure out why I have no sound.
But yeah, so like Jenna was talking about, just being able to have a whiskey that can cover so many different avenues, be it mixed drinks, neat. I think this is a really exciting whiskey. The tasting notes speak for themselves. There are so many different things that come forth with the whiskey, that it's not just a one-way street. It's not just the citrus. It's not just the vanillins. We might get that, and that's what powers it, I think, the most. Yeah, Jenna's tuning me out. She's done with me for the night, guys. It's okay.
Can you hear my headphones? I don't know what's happening with the technology at this moment, but I can hear you.
All you right, can. Are you back?
Oh my gosh, I don't know what was going on.
Everybody in the comments was offering to share what I said with you.
Well, my speakers just keep trying to test themselves. And I don't know, I was having issues with them earlier. So
Stuart said you've been tuning me out.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Timeout. She listens to me chat all day long, so
yeah.
She's had enough.
So I have no idea what you said, but I'll just nod and agree.
I was sharing the tasting notes and that how it is a large culmination of multiple humans bringing forth their opinions and what they tasted. So it's always fun seeing them and reading them because they're so different. Some people get certain things. One of them got fresh raspberries. One got refreshing mango and banana bread. Others got those Moroccan spices and some gingerbread. I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
So, and I'm with you. German Ochner Printen. If anybody knows what that is, please share. I have no idea what it is.
I don't either. And I didn't want to butcher that because I would have definitely done so.
Like you said, we're always learning. And if I butchered it, I would love to know because I love being able to pronounce things correctly. I struggle.
Yeah, exactly. I love it too. So it looks like it is like a gingerbread, basically. Somewhat similar to a gingerbread, sweetened with honey. It's like a dessert.
So a Belgian speculoos is, I'm going to guess, a similar concept. Very cool.
Yeah. I get more, I think I get more of that like bourbon-esque kind of quality, that like big vanilla, that big almost like, I get more like caramel, which I guess is kind of, I could see why they would get that speculoos kind of profile. But
I'll say sitting in the glass, I'm getting more caramels and a lot more sweetness now. Yeah. This has been in the glass for 43 minutes. My God, I talk a lot, but like the Biscoff cookies you get on the Delta Airlines. Yes, exactly. This is just a liquid version after you dunk them in like milk.
Yeah. Now I'm getting that. Now that that's like been put in my head, I'm definitely getting those Biscoff cookies.
Yes.
It makes me want to get on an airplane.
I was on one. I wasn't on. I didn't get Biscoffs though. It was like a quick 45-minute flight. So.
Yeah, now, that's like all I'm getting now are those Biscoff cookies. Our suggestion.
Funny how psychology works.
Yeah. So basically, it's orange creamsicle meets. Oh, like if you had an orange creamsicle popsicle that was like you dipped it in the Biscoff cookie crumble.
You know those crazy milkshakes some of these restaurants are coming out with where you have the milkshake in this massive mason jar and then there's like a huge mound of whipped cream and like 18 different things thrown on top. This is like an orange creamsicle smoothie or milkshake. And then in the whipped cream on top, they've got Biscoff cookies stuffed in there, maybe a little caramel drizzled on top. Oh, now I want one.
But I just really love though that like you're getting all of those notes, but it's still just a really bright whiskey. It
never dulls out. It never becomes like dried or mold or anything of the sorts. It's always fresh, vibrant, aromatic, ripe.
Yep, it's really fantastic. I'm a big fan of it. So Alexander asked, would this milkshake bring the boys to the yard?
It'll bring me there.
Ben's here. Hello, Ben. Ben asked, would it pair with oysters? Ben, I would not pair this with oysters. I would not say this is oyster whiskey. I would not say this is an oyster whiskey. I know we probably have some whiskeys in the shop currently that would pair beautifully with oysters, but this would not be the one. I would definitely pair this more
Everybody say hi to Ben.
I would definitely pair this more with like on the dessert side of.
I think this would actually, talking of pairings, this would go great with a creme brulee, maybe like a tropical creme brulee. Yeah. Like you can just put some like instead of like red berries on top, maybe put some like clementines or mandarin oranges. Scott says I'd pair any whiskey with oysters.
Really? How would you do that? Would you pour the whiskey on the oysters, or would you just eat the oyster and then drink the whiskey?
I'm not sure. I am as well.
Pouring peated whiskey on an oyster is probably one of the most just delicious, amazing moments in life.
I'm gonna have to try that now.
I cannot.
What about an oily and coastal whiskey?
Yes.
With some oysters.
Literally any kind of coastal, peaty, like maritime, like
now,
briny
do
kind of.
you keep like a rocks glass underneath it to catch all of the runoff and then drink it afterwards? So then you have like a whiskey oyster juice cocktail? No? Fair.
No, I would just drink more whiskey.
I think Jim brought it up. How about dark chocolate? I think this would go fantastic with dark chocolate. The bitterness would really mix well with the whiskey. You're almost making an edible version of an old fashioned. You have that bitter dark chocolate, then you have the citrus and the vanillins coming from the whiskey itself. You know, I wouldn't, and I know it's out there, the dark chocolate with like oranges in it. I think like Ghirardelli makes it. I wouldn't even do that because you already have so much vibrant citrus in the whiskey itself that just good old 70+% dark chocolate would be phenomenal with this. Maybe 60+.
Yep. I agree. I think chocolate would be just stellar. Some chocolate, even like some almonds or some kind of like nut would be really awesome with these or with this whiskey as well.
Yes.
It's really good. This whiskey is really good.
This has been, I mean, if you look at my bottle, we're already a good amount down considering I opened it today.
Oh, yeah. You got me beat.
If this is a 45-minute video, I don't want to know how long this bottle is going to last.
It's not going to last. But again, I cannot stress enough. I know single cask, they are our bread and butter. It is what we preach and we love to share and we love to talk about. But these really just tongue-in-cheek blended malts that we release are really just absolutely stellar. And I know it goes against kind of the grain a little bit, but when it comes to whiskey, I think the one big piece of advice is never turn your nose up to anything. Try everything, and whatever gets put in front of you, try it at least once. You can decide if you like it or if you don't. But I can't speak enough good things about these batched releases that we put out. I have loved again every single one, and this one gets to just be added. Now I have 12 different batched releases that I've absolutely just enjoyed and loved, and this is no exception. So
yes. And I will throw this out there, since I do still have this old fashioned in front of me, though it's almost gone. Tom at first had said the orange bitters. However, after drinking this, he brought up another good point for cocoa bitters or some sort of like chocolate bitter. I think that would actually go better with the cocktail. It would definitely make it more of a dessert style cocktail. But again, the amount of citrus that is coming out of this alone with just the orange peel and the whiskey itself is phenomenal. It's super lively. I think a more bitter style or dessert style bitter would probably go really well with it. So
I think a chocolate bitters would be, that just sounds really good. Just
so good.
So
I love that everybody's in the chat talking about these cocktails now and what they would use in them. Like, I mean, you said it.
Really do.
No, you said it so perfectly, though. Never stick your nose up to anything. This whiskey was not made, in one fashion. And I was told at the beginning, when you first start, we all do it. We drink the things that everybody else says is good. We want to look up the reviews, make sure the product that we're getting is good quality.
Yeah, of course.
You don't want to waste your money anywhere. And you definitely just want to have good stuff around so you know that you're going to like what you're drinking. I think that's wonderful. Being able to come on to here where we see 30 casks almost every month of single malt whiskey, to be able to get a blended whiskey and be able to speak so highly of it is just fun. When I first started out, I would want to try everything because I didn't know what I liked. And then I shied away from the peated area. And we all know that for a while, I didn't want to touch peat. But now it's some of the most exciting whiskey to drink because I opened myself up. It took a couple tries, obviously, as many things do. You get on a bike, you fall off. You can't just quit there. You got to get up and try again. And I say the same with the whiskey. Give it 2 chances. Try it once. Try it neat. Try it with ice. Try it with water. Try it in a cocktail. If you don't like it, try it again later. A month down the road, 2 months down the road. But there's so much out there that, there's so much to learn, as you said it well before. The day you stop learning is the day you stop enjoying this. So there's so much out there to be able to enjoy and try. And this is just another one of those examples of something that you wouldn't typically look at on the shelf, but when you get it, it's just great.
It really is a really fantastic whiskey. And, you know, once these things are gone, they're gone forever. These will never be recreated again. Just like a single cask, we're not recreating batch 12 again. Even in the 2 exotic cargoes that we released for batch 1 and batch 2, and for Peat Fairy, they were 2 different whiskeys. You know, and I can't just recommend picking one of these up enough. I'm so excited to be able to offer, you know, something like this to members. It's just something so different than, you know, what we normally do. But I think that's in true society form, because we're always trying to just be the fun mom, you know?
I do want to bring up Zero Page asks, just to confirm, both casks were new oak. Yes. The first cask was a new American oak, and the second cask was new Caucasian oak.
Right.
The staves, just to confirm, the staves are new. I don't know if we have confirmation on if the heads were new, but they were both toasted heads plopped onto the new oak staves.
And again, that Caucasian oak is also known as Persian oak, or Quercus macranthera, which is, you know, something new that I get to research and kind of dig into and understand a little bit, you know, more than I do now. But this is a great introduction into it. And this is, you know, I'm super pleased. I don't really know how else. I'm pleased as punch. I don't really know how else to, you know, to put it, because it's just a really freaking good whiskey.
Yeah.
So again, tomorrow, 1:00 Eastern time, be logged into your accounts, or you can call us at, you know, it'll be myself or Zach, and we'll be more than happy to place your orders over the phone. Or you can, again, log into your account 1:00 Eastern time and place your order that way. So,
hey, this was a lot of fun. These cocktails, these are cool. This is so
different.
It's so different.
When have we ever made a cocktail on a live stream?
I'm gonna have to go out and buy like cocktail equipment to start just dumping some of this society whiskey in to try new things. Because I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go to Whole Foods and get a bunch of oysters. I'm gonna get some cocktail equipment, and I'm gonna just start going to town.
That's the way to do it. I saw Alexander said that just got 53.365. Oh, such a great whiskey in the mail, and we'll be throwing on some oysters over the weekend. So I hope you enjoy it. And,
yes.
All right.
But, hey, yours is almost gone. Mine's almost gone. I'm going to raise this before it's gone as you finish yours off.
It's gone.
What is cocktail equipment? Nicholas, cocktail equipment is a shaker, a pourer, a stirrer, things of the sorts that I do not have myself, as Jenna was showcasing. Just be able to make these cocktails instead of trying to makeshift them with a spoon in a normal rocks glass
and a straw.
And, you know, maybe mixing it in my blender. I don't know. Just going to have to get some basic things to start making these, because, you know, it's just, it's eye-opening, the flavors that you can get out of it. As Scott had said, good whiskey makes a good cocktail.
It's so true. I've learned so much about whiskey and just about, you know, the spirits industry through cocktails. I've learned so much through a cocktail, and they're a lot of fun to make. You don't have to be a bartender. You don't have to be a professional mixologist to make a great cocktail at home. There are a lot of great, you know, easy ones that you can make with just a few ingredients. And we encourage you to explore with your society whiskey. So, yeah. Well, with that,
then more straws. I think I got enough straws, Tom. But with that, this was a lot of fun. I've already finished my neat dram, so I'm going to raise my old fashioned and just thank everybody for coming out and hanging out. Jenna mentioned it. This will release tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time. There are 148 bottles available. My cocktail is exploding everywhere. Oh my gosh. 148 bottles, released one per member. Order online. If you want, please feel free to give us a call. We'll be able to help you there. But otherwise, thank you guys for coming. Thanks for sharing with us. And we look forward to sharing some more drinks and cocktails with you all in the future.
Yes. So, all right. Well, cheers to you, Zach.
Making yes. Cheers to me for trying something new,
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all so much. Hopefully we'll talk to some of you tomorrow, and have a great night. Cheers.